So, when we talk about modern day entertainment, especially regarding Marvel, Disney, DC, whatever the case may be, we talk about how the writers are usually to blame for a lot of the problems that are happening in the movie. Reason being is that the writers are usually some woke liberals that were hired simply for the fact that they hated the IP that they're working on. It's a weird thing that, especially Marvel, has been proven to hire people who have never read the comic books ever, who don't even have a love for the comic books, who may not even know about the comic books at all. They prefer to hire those kind of people over people who actually genuinely know the source material, even if slightly. They don't even care. They don't want you to know the source material at all. They don't want you to have a love for what came prior. They want you to bend the knee and submit to what's coming now. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, simply put, we have another Karen on our hands, hence the Avatar hairstyle. We have a Marvel and DC writer by the name of Shannon Hale, who apparently says that the state of Utah is clearly just too white for her liking. This is from a person who is extremely white herself. It's always the same fucking people. Why is that? It is always the same people, the same white women that always want to talk about how something else is too white. It's always the people with the whitest of skin color that wants to say that something is too white. I don't understand why that is, but we're going to get into the article from Bounding Into Comics. Of course, before we do, guys, consider giving this video a like so you can help push us out into the YouTube algorithm. It says Marvel Comics and DC writer Shannon Hale, better known for her Princess Academy novel series, recently opined that Utah is just too white for her liking. Hale penned the graphic novels Diana and Nubia, Princesses of the Amazons, and Diana, Princesses of Amazons for DC, and The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, Squirrel Meets World, and The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl Too Fuzzy, Too Furious for Marvel. Hale made her comments about Utah in a recent sit-down with Mistborn novelist Brandon Sanderson as the two discussed the best food in Utah. After Sanderson shared his thoughts on why he believes Utah food is better than Nebraska, at around the 3-minute and 38-second mark, Hale opined that Utah was just too white. She said, for being a state that's 83% white, which is just so, it's just too white, but we have to have a lot of international foods here for all of that. Now, it's interesting. These people want to say that the state of Utah is too white, and I'm sure she feels this way about a lot of other states in the United States of America, especially those in the rural areas where it is majority white. They never have these conversations about Asia, for example. They never have these conversations about China, mainly. They never have these conversations about Japan, which is pretty much a homogenized group of people where you would be hard pressed to find someone of any darker skin color in those areas, and when you do, it is literally a needle in a haystack. But those are perfectly fine. They're allowed to be 100% the same kind of people, but God forbid white people are majority in an area, all of a sudden people want to go crazy like this. And it's funny, it's always, I guess white people are just their own worst enemy. I'm not really sure. Like, white liberals just hate their own skin color more than anybody else hates their own skin color. They have such an immense white guilt built in within them that they become essentially Karens, you know what I mean? And it's just absolutely insane to see someone complain about the skin color of a place being too white when they themselves are glistening white. But that's neither here nor there. It says Hale's comments are repugnant. There is nothing wrong with being bored white. I agree. And there is nothing wrong with the state of Utah having a high density of people being white. The state of Utah is not too white. Nevertheless, Hale couldn't even get her facts right. According to the United Census Bureau, Utah's population demographics show the state is 77.2% white alone, not Hispanic or Latino. If you look at the white alone demographic, it's at 90.3%. Hale's comments do not seem to be out of character for her. A brief look at her Twitter feed shows similar comments. Now, before we get into her Twitter feed, I want to stay on the fact that she is a Marvel and DC writer, okay? This is the problem with a lot of the IPs that are happening right now coming out of Marvel, Disney, and DC. This is the problem. Most of the writers are probably just like this person. They think like this person, they look like this person, but overall the mindset is the exact same, and that's the issue. This mindset is detrimental to creativity. It always is. When they look at something as a political statement, they're going to treat it as such, and you're going to realize on her Twitter feed, she doesn't promote her artwork, she doesn't promote her writing. No, she promotes politics, just like every single one of the other people who are like that. All of these writers are political activists on their Twitter feeds, and that's the issue that's happening in today's modern entertainment world. But let's continue. It says in March of 2020, she tweeted, "White men in this country for a couple hundred years, we will do everything. In fact, we will make it illegal for women or non-white men to vote or have any authority whatsoever. It'll all be us, also white men. You can't blame everything bad that happened on white men." Hale also defamed Kyle Rittenhouse, who defended himself when he was repeatedly attacked by violent criminals in Wisconsin. She described him as a white supremacy radicalized boy. She tweeted in September of 2020, "A white supremacy radicalized boy who went to another town," false narrative by the way, "with people hunting guns with the intent to use them," false narrative by the way, "and is charged with murdering 2 humans versus a girl who pleads with people to protect the earth. GOP, this is who you want to be." That entire tweet, by the way, is literally a false narrative. He didn't go from one town to the other. His father lived in that town. He has been in that town. He has stayed in that town. And he didn't go out hunting people with his guns. That is not the case. He went there to specifically defend life and liberty of his family. So, of course, if he is attacked by people who are trying to kill him, he has every right to defend himself, absolutely. And that's the problem. These people think that the world is supposed to be this kumbaya safe space, but apparently they don't even realize that their own people that they try to pander to 24/7 are some of the most violent people out there. So they come out and try to attack Kyle Rittenhouse. Of course he's going to defend himself. You're also complaining about pedophiles who got killed, by the way. I'll never complain about that. More power to Kyle Rittenhouse for doing so. It says in December of 2020, she seemingly indicated that the United States of America, Hale is also a supporter of Black Lives Matter, which, by the way, is an organization that has not done a fucking thing for black people, just in case you didn't know. At the end of May 2020, she tweeted, "Lay the batons down, throw out the paramilitary gear. Tanks don't belong in our streets. There is horrific injustice. Acknowledge it. Listen. Walk behind the BLM leaders. Walk beside your community. This will take work. Don't suppress, support." Ooh, Shannon Hale, the white savior. That's exactly what we all needed in our lives. You mean the BLM leaders who stole all the money from BLM organization, took it, bought mansions, and ran with it? You mean those leaders, the people who gave literally no money to the black community whatsoever and let them rot while they moved in white neighborhoods, mind you? These people moved into white neighborhoods with their millions that they stole off of the backs of black people and guilty white liberals. Those kind of leaders? Okay, yeah, sure, Shannon Hale, sure. You are definitely on the right side of history, without a doubt. Hale still has the hashtag BLM in her profile to this day as well. I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. Listen, it's white liberal women. They have a fetish for BBC, and instead of just admitting and coming out and saying you have a fetish for BBC, they want to completely try to play the white savior role and try to indoctrinate people into believing that they actually give a shit. These women don't give a shit, all right? They don't give a shit about any of this stuff. When they're home alone and there's no cameras, no Twitter, no nothing, they're at home literally begging that no black person ever opens their door and enters their house. But online, they're going to be, oh yeah, BLM this, BLM that. But the moment it comes to their neighborhood, now they want to panic. We've seen it before during the BLM riots. I forgot, I believe it was in Chicago during the BLM riots. One of the senators or something along those lines was like, yeah, you need to take to the streets. You need to be violent. You need to be this. You need to be that. And then the streets came to her house and yeah, all of a sudden the tone changed. And it was like, why would you do this? Why would you come to my house? Why would you destroy my property? It was great stuff. So again, they're perfectly fine with you going out in the streets and acting a fool so long as it doesn't actually affect them. They'll be your best friend politically, but in real life, they don't want nothing to do with you. But unfortunately, a lot of people eat this up from white saviors like this woman. For those unfamiliar with Black Lives Matter, the organization was founded by self-proclaimed Marxists. One of the organization's founders, Patrice Cullors, stated, "The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia, in particular, are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that what we really try to do is build a movement that can be utilized by many, many black folk." No, what you did was you built a movement that you knew was going to give you many, many dollars. That's the difference. You knew it was going to give you a lot of money that you can then utilize to buy all the dream stuff that you wanted to buy and get the hell out of there before anybody came knocking and wanting to ask where the money was. So again, guys, this entire thing is a joke. Shannon Hale is a mega joke, and she just is literally one of those white saviors that thinks that everything is too white, even though herself is a white person. She has a BBC fetish and she suffers from white guilt. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.